from the mind of one of the most accomplished professional tournament bass anglers. Whether it's from the front deck of his bass boat or high up in a tree stand, Clark Wendland loves the Texas outdoors and wants to share it all with you.
You know, it's going to be an incredible adventure. I look forward to bringing the viewer what this awesome state has to offer, from great fishing to great hunting to a bunch of excitement. It ought to be really awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us today on Fishing and Hunting Texas. I'm super excited. I'm fishing a lake I've never been to before, and I love fishing lakes that I've never been to before. There's grass, I see coots everywhere, so I know there's a lot of grass, really clear water. These small lakes like this dot all over the state of Texas. It ought to be super fun. Join us. I noticed there was coots on the water. I know there's a lot of grass. As soon as I put it in, I start my 1040 XS and I'm looking at my graph. And as I idle, what I'm noticing is a lot of grass. You know, a lot of people get kind of freaked out by what grass is and what grass shows you on a depth finder. When I'm looking at the 1040 XS right here, if you look at this line right here, that line right there is the bottom. That's what we're seeing right there. And then everything that grows above that is grass. That grass actually comes up off the bottom. The bottom right now is 17, 18 feet. It comes up 4 or 5 feet. It'll come up different levels at different parts of the lake. What I'm gonna do is learn as much as I can while I'm idling around, and I'm not talking about a long time, I'm talking about 30 minutes, and just kind of see how high that grass actually grows. That'll give me an idea how deep a bait I need to throw. Now I have any idea what I'm gonna catch them on, but this is where I start.
While Clark surveys the area with his Garmin, let's learn more about this body of water in our lake spotlight. This lake is known as the Kurth Reservoir and is located 6 miles north of Alaskan, Texas. The surface area covers just over 700 acres and has a maximum depth of about 40 feet. Its normal conditions are quite clear, and in these cold temperatures, Clark has an idea of how he wants to start his day.
So I've spent time idling around this lake. Never been here before, and the time of year it is, water temperature's mid-50s. And so what I think is that those fish are probably going to be kind of near the outside edge. Now there may be plenty of fish up higher in that grass, farther out in the grass, but they may be smaller. But hey, fishing a new lake's just totally trial and error. You just get out there, you spend some time on the outside edge, you spend some time up over the top of the grass, you go up on the inside edge. You may even hit the bank and go flipping. It's not rocket science. What it is just trial and error. Get out there, throw, and if you get a bite, let it tell you something. First bite of the day right there. I just picked up a swim bait, and you know, I've thrown 2 different crankbaits. One of them dove about 12 feet. I couldn't hit the grass with it. Some of that grass was deeper, and then changed a little deeper crankbait, and I was hitting it too good with that crankbait. So now I'm to a swim bait, which a swim bait's the kind of bait you got to kind of count down, kind of real slow. You basically kind of massage it through there. This water's just real clear, and so, you know, I had thoughts that we'd get here and we'd be able to, you know, throw a rattle trap, maybe throw a chatterbait, swim a jig, and all that stuff may work. It may end up working up in the shallower parts of the grass, but out here in this deeper grass, it's just, those baits aren't going to work. They just won't get deep enough. So you just have to kind of make a change based on that. That's the second bite I've had on that swim bait. He hit it, he popped it, and I thought it started loading up, but it didn't. That's one thing about a swim bait is you just don't know. I mean, when you get a little old tick like that, basically it just kind of requires you just keep on reeling until it loads up. It could be a little guy, but it could be a giant too. You really don't have any idea. There's one. Oh, that's a good feeling fish right there. Now, I've had 3, maybe 4 bites in a row. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Look at that fish, he can't even jump. He's so lethargic, he just ate that thing. Look at this bait so far down in his face. Oh. Oh my gosh. Now I was sitting there just talking about the fact that those could be good fish. You know, I'm getting a bite, I get a little tick, I get another little tick, and man, look at the size of that fish.
Clark has figured out his first bite of the day. When Fishing and Hunting Texas returns, we'll see if he can't hone in on a pattern. Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Cabela's, it's in your nature. Garmin, the power of simple. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
Sounds like a great trip.
Sure was.
The Arctic Ice Tundra Series, capable of keeping your food frozen all day long. The Tundra Series is a portable, safe, and reusable alternative ideally suited to replace dry ice. Keep your food as frozen as the Tundra with the Tundra Series from Arctic Ice.
Like what you see on Americana Outdoors? Check out AmericanaOutdoors.com for all the latest fishing information. AmericanaOutdoors.com has a great variety of fishing channels for saltwater and freshwater sportsmen. Check it out at AmericanaOutdoors.com.
Call me a fool for searching. Nessie doesn't want to be found. But I've got the new Garmin combo with the clearest scanning sonar images on the water. I can see Nessie's home and all the wee fish in crisp detail. I mean, look at it, look. It's her. You are real. You do exist.
The Alaskan Series Cooler Packs by Arctic Ice, specifically designed to keep your food and drinks cold all day long without having to use ice and end up with a soggy lunch. The Alaskan Series by Arctic Ice, bitterly cold.
Hi, I'm Cabela's Pro Staffer Wade Middleton. Aquatic invasive species are threatening our lakes and rivers. We must act now or the results could be devastating. Visit Cabela's.com to learn more about how you can help stop the spread of aquatic hitchhikers.
Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas with host Clark Wendlandt. Now, Clark has launched his boat on a hidden Texas gem known as the Kurth Reservoir, and he's figured out that in this clear water and this grass, swim baits seem to be the deal.
You know, one of my very favorite things to do is get on a new lake and learn, try to figure out where the fish are at. And the main key in figuring out fish is just basically paying attention. And it doesn't matter if you're hunting or fishing. It's paying attention and just to every little thing. It might be a bird, you know, running bait. It might be coots on the water telling you that there's a patch of grass somewhere. It may be looking down at your Garmin and saying, hey, I just saw a little high spot or just saw a depression. And if you really pay attention to everything around you, a lot of times there'll be some key, some little clue that'll just clue you into why a place starts getting good or why there's actually fish there. There's one. Oh, check this fish out. This is so cool. I love these fish that get these black spots on them like that. You'll see it a lot. It seems like to me you see these fish a lot more in the early spring, but look at, I mean, all over his body, he's got black spots all over. I mean, he's a fat little pig, but look at that dude. We got a black one right here. I think they keep those their whole life. I'm really not exactly sure, but a lot of lakes this time of year, you'll really see those black spots on them. That's too much fun right there. All right. So that fish was really pretty much in the same spot that other one was. I've had a couple other bites there. What's happened is that there's a ditch going in that we kind of went into, and then we started working our way out, and this is a point between ditches. And so I got way out, and I got outside the grass. The biggest one I caught, that big one I caught a minute ago, was kind of on the outside. We just keep working across this and see if we can catch a few more. Oh, right at the boat. Get this. Now, that's 2 bites and 2 casts right there. Look at the fat belly on that dude. Gosh, that's a heavy fish. That's 2 and 2 casts, and that's when I hit a waypoint. Marked it. Now we can work around that. That one's got a couple of those little black spots on his tail also. That doesn't really happen very often with a swim bait. Usually it's a little bit farther out there. You know, you throw a swim bait when the water's clear. Water's really clear here, and you know, I think of East Texas grass, what I really think of is rattle trap, maybe chatterbait, maybe a crankbait, maybe spinnerbait. But where we're fishing right here is there's so much water over the top of the grass that if you throw those traditional baits, they might work, but it's hard to get down to the grass. And this bait, I'm throwing a 3/4 ounce swim bait, and it's not very hard to get it down there. I'll let it sink a little bit and start reeling it slow. There's one. I was just about to say I'm about ready to leave this area, and boom. Oh, that's a nice fat one. Man, these fish are healthy. I mean, you get in a lake this time of year, and you better see some gut and fatness on a fish. And this lake definitely has got that. Boy, that's just heavy fish, just fat. Well, I just decided, you know, I mean, I had been kind of just milling around the same area over and over again. I caught 3 or 4, and then I caught that crappie. I missed 2 or 3. I had a big one come up and swipe at a jerkbait right when I was about to pull it out of the water, and I just thought, you know, I'm just going to drift on down. I can always work back. You know, I got a waypoint there, and as soon as I start kind of easing out of that area, I get another bite. So, you know, maybe the area could just be bigger than I think it is too. So,
when Fishing and Hunting Texas returns, a cold front blows in, and we'll see how Clark adjusts. Clark has long trusted Ranger boats to get him to and from his spots on the water safely. Let's put your Ranger knowledge to the test. In February of 2014, Ranger Boats added what brand new series to its Ranger aluminum lineup? For the answer to this and for a Ranger boat that was built to be yours, visit mydreamrig.com.
Engineered to excel, the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series are built for the ultimate ownership experience. It's a commitment to excellence packed with real-world advantages and exclusive features. Experience the accelerated performance standards of the legendary Ranger Z series. From first light to last cast, they're put together to set you apart. Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
Like what you see on Americana Outdoors? Check out AmericanaOutdoors.com for the latest outdoor news. You can view all of our recent episodes and get all the info about our outdoor expeditions. Check it out at AmericanaOutdoors.com.
Lucas Fishing Reel Oil is a special blend of oil and additives, specifically designed to lubricate all moving parts in freshwater and saltwater fishing reels and rust corrosion protection even under the most adverse conditions. The new one-drop applications allow you to put just the right amount of lubricant into hard-to-reach areas. Increase your reel performance with Lucas Oil high-performance products. Available at Cabela's.
When you pack your cooler for a barbecue or even a tailgate party, be sure to pack it with Chillin' Brew, powered by Arctic Ice. Chillin' Brew in a cooler can keep beer at the perfect drinking temperature longer than ice. Grab some brews and Chillin' Brew today.
It's up to us, anglers, boaters, and other outdoor enthusiasts to take necessary steps to protect our lakes and rivers from non-native, harmful aquatic plants and animals. Visit Cabela's.com and learn more about the steps that you can take to help stop aquatic hitchhikers.
Hi, I'm Billy Gerke, and whether you're taking your son or daughter on his or her first outdoor adventure or enjoying some time for yourself outdoors, the team at Foreverlast wants you to know we strive to make only the best products, and it is our promise to you to continue to bring new ideas and improve others to keep you at the forefront of your pursuit. Family, friends, and the great outdoors, it's who we are. Foreverlast.
Like what you see on Americana Outdoors? White-tailed deer, turkey, hog, and dove are just some of the great hunts you can experience at AmericanaOutdoors.com. You can view all of our recent episodes. Check it out at AmericanaOutdoors.com.
Smoked him.
Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Arctic Ice. Preserve an Arctic refuge in your cooler. AmericanaOutdoors.com, your website for fishing and hunting news. And by Lucas Oil Marine Products, made in America, sold to the world. Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas with host Clark Wendlandt. Clark is trying to dial the fish in here on the Kurth Reservoir, and a cold front has moved in. Donned with his Cabela's guidewear, he's now making a move to continue to try different things.
That's a good one there. Oh. Those fish just don't have, they got zero fight left in them. Now look, I barely did hook that one. That's a good one right there. I've missed some of them, and I mean, the one right before this, about 2 casts before, I hooked him for just a second, and I have a feeling it was just barely in the skin of the mouth. Yeah, that's a good one right there. You know, when you decide what kind of cover you're fishing, here it's deep grass for us, there's 2 different ways you can attack it. One way is have baits and fish baits. There's one. What I was saying is have baits that you fish up around the grass, and what that is a jerk bait, swim bait, something that a fish has to see and go to. The other way is to have baits that actually bump into the grass, crankbait, chatterbait, spinnerbait, stuff that actually you rip through the grass. And when the water's really clear, a lot of times, just being around the grass is what you want. Hey, we had a great afternoon. It's pretty cold. We got out and fished that deeper water. Tomorrow we're going to come back in the morning. It's going to be a big cold front, clear bluebird day. I think the conditions will be pretty tough, but we may have to adapt a little bit. We may swim bait a little bit more, see if we can catch a really big fish. Stay with us. Hey, we're back day 2. You know, yesterday afternoon we got out here and we caught some really nice fish, but we had a few miss our bait, and we just didn't really have enough time to really put as much time as we really wanted to put. The other thing that happened is a cold front blew in right in the very middle of the day. And you know, today is totally a different day. You look out, I mean, we're all bundled up. It's about 30 degrees out here. It's gonna be a cold bluebird day. And so we're gonna see how the fish change according to that. So we got some new things we're gonna try. Ought to be a fun day. You know, but just about anywhere I go in the country, when it's clear water and it's cold, I'm thinking jerkbait. And the reason is it's a bait that you can get down there and then actually keep in front of the fish without having to move it very much. Those fish that bit yesterday, a lot of those bites were real lethargic bites. And when they'd fight, they just barely move. You know, they weren't really, you know, they're not real active yet. They're fat, they're obviously eating plenty, but they're not expending a lot of energy yet to get their food. And so jerkbait, you know, you can get it down there. I'm throwing a bill jerkbait, so it'll get down probably 8 or 10 feet, and then basically just letting it sit there. And I'll jerk it a couple times, just let it sit. Jerk it a couple times, let it sit. There's one jerkbait. Pretty little one also, but fatty. Oh, get in here, Dad. That's a good fat fish right there. I caught that on a deep running suspended jerkbait, and the reason is that, you know, I'd be able to just throw a regular everyday jerkbait over this stuff, but it's just, the grass is just so deep. 10 to 14 feet is how deep I need my bait to get, and so that's just pretty deep. You know, one thing about wintertime fishing or early pre-spawn is that it's slow fishing a lot of times. And finding fish takes a lot of time because you just can't move your bait nearly as fast. You can't just buzz around and fish as fast as you want to. There's one. Pretty big field fish. Fishing that thing so slow down there. I mean, just barely moving. You know, the water temperature dropped overnight, probably 7, 8 degrees. Barely got that just on the back hook, and you know, I just barely moving that bait out there, but that's what it takes a lot of times. You know, when you're trying to find fish, it's difficult because you just can't cover that much water. Look how fat that, man, fish are.
When Fishing and Hunting Texas returns, we'll get a closer look at everything Clark used on his trip today and see if the bite picks up here for Clark's final afternoon.
The Alaskan Series Cooler Packs by Arctic Ice. Specifically designed to keep your food and drinks cold all day long without having to use ice and end up with a soggy lunch. The Alaskan Series by Arctic Ice. Bitterly cold.
The distances aren't getting shorter. The trucks are going farther. The 2013 Ram 1500 with best-in-class fuel economy, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram. The new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2013 Truck of the Year.
From bass and walleye to crappie in the great outdoors, you deserve more than old-school aluminum. Reward yourself with the quality, performance, and extra room in a Ranger aluminum design. Packed with features, these rigs carry an ultra-smooth dry ride and stable platforms. Experience a Ranger aluminum boat today. It's engineered to excel and priced to be yours. Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
Call me a fool for searching. Nessie doesn't want to be found. But I've got the new Garmin combo with the clearest scanning sonar images on the water. I can see Nessie's home and all the wee fish in crisp detail. I mean, look at it, look. It's her. You are real. You do exist.
Like what you see on Americana Outdoors? Check out AmericanaOutdoors.com for all the latest fishing information. AmericanaOutdoors.com has a great variety of fishing channels for saltwater and freshwater sportsmen. Check it out at AmericanaOutdoors.com.
For nearly 2 decades now, our team at Forever Last has never been more alive in the truth that we live hunting and fishing. The heartbeat, spirit, and tradition of the outdoors is what our company and all of our products are founded upon. Whether we're in the woods or on the water, you can rest assured we're working hard to invent new or improve other products to keep you at the forefront of your pursuit. Family, friends, and the great outdoors, it's who we are. Forever Last.
Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas with host Clark Wendlandt. We're on the Kurth Reservoir, and Clark has managed to find some great fish here by targeting the outside edges of the grass and dialing in on both swim baits and jerk baits.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Gosh, look at the belly on that dude. Oh my gosh. He wants to jump again, he just can't quite pull it off. He's too fat. Gosh, I can't even grab him. Ah, get the size of that thing. Oh, now that is so awesome. Look at that fish. I just want to show you the gut on this fish right here. Look at that. Now that's what they're supposed to look like this time of year. I mean, you get a healthy lake, you're going to have one that's got fish that look like that this time. I mean, that fish is way over 5 pounds.
Clark spent some of the afternoon flipping into the shallows of the cattails, but had the majority of his bites on deeper edges of the grass flats. Back out deeper, he's just hit a burst of fish by switching to a swim bait.
God, we have hit a little flurry. You know, all day those fish just pretty much didn't bite at all. Oh man, I mean, there's just nothing like that right there. You just reel that bait along. You know, what happened is we were getting bit on jerkbait and all of a sudden it died. We got no more bites at all. And I picked up a swim bait, about ready to take off, and all of a sudden, I mean, just a flurry, boom, one after another. It's going on right now. Much fun right there. Big old suckers. They just started biting. Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
Let's take a closer look at what Clark used on this trip in this tackle breakdown.
Hey, I want to talk just a little bit about the tackle setup that we used over the past couple of days. The first one we threw yesterday was a swim bait, and we had quite a few bites on it. Some of them missed the bait. I really think it was really the right bait. It was the right setup we had. I just think when you're throwing a swim bait, sometimes they're going to miss the bait. This is a Berkeley hollow belly, gizzard shad. It's just on a swim bait head. It's got a little spinner on the bottom of it. The line setup I've got fluorocarbon line. Fluorocarbon actually is a dense line that actually sinks in the water column. And the reason I wanted fluorocarbon for this is it doesn't hold my bait up at all. It actually lets the bait get down deep in the water. And so, you know, I'm letting that bait get down 10 feet, sometimes 12, 14 feet deep. It worked really well. As far as the rod setup, I used a Cabela's Americans TXS, the frog and jig rod. Why didn't I use the swim bait rod? Because the swim bait rod is more of an umbrella rig rod, something for throwing lots of baits, real heavy swim baits. I was throwing just a single swim bait, wasn't that heavy. I didn't want this big, dominant, heavy rod. And so that's the setup I used on the swim bait. On the jerk bait, Tournament ZX rod, I was throwing a build jerk bait. Basically what that jerk bait did is it just got me down deep. I got down deep and then basically that bait suspends in the water. So when I jerk it, it just sits there. When I jerk it, it just sits there. Jerk bait setup, 10-pound fluorocarbon line. I want that bait to get down easy. Usually with a jerk bait, I like 10-pound test. I mean, maybe in that heavy grass, I didn't need it, but these fish, I mean, you notice the way they fight, they're just real lethargic. And so I mean, 10-pound test was totally fine. We talked a little bit already about the Tournament ZX. It's just a really good feeling rod. This rod's 6 foot 9 inches long. It just feels natural when you're jerking it. You jerk that thing, it's light, it doesn't wear your arm or your wrist out. I don't have to take Advil and get a massage at the end of the day. It's a perfect rod for that. That's my tackle over the last few days. It's been fun. We've really enjoyed fishing here. It's a cool lake, East Texas. You just never know what you're gonna get. You could catch a giant at any time.
Thanks for joining us. Remember to find us online at fishingandhuntingtexas.com, where you can watch full episodes of our shows and find out Clark's tips and thoughts on today's show by reading his blog. There's also a link to our Facebook page, where you'll be up to date on where Clark is and what he's up to out in the Texas outdoors. See you next week.